Hello, I'm Sean Kent Hayashi with Saucon Valley Cute and Cuddly Schnauzers, and this little girl is Burberry, and she loves to cuddle. And today I'm going to talk about several things. First, we're going to have a discussion about tails, tail docking, and why we dock tails, the pros, cons, and issues related to tail docking in any breed that has their tails docked. Then we're going to have a visit. Ariel and Eve are coming to see Sugar, and so I'm sure there will be an adventure awaiting as they ask lots of great questions. Let's see what happens in this video. Here we go. I bred Burberry. She is a puppy of Liberty. When she was 2 days or maybe 3 days old, I took her to the veterinarian and I had to show my veterinarian where to dock the tail. And so typically they will give me a black Sharpie marker. And what I do is I put my finger at the base of the tail like this. So I'll grab the little puppy tail, base of the tail, and then I put the black Sharpie marker right where my finger ends. Hopefully this is making sense. Burberry's tail is the result of me having put my finger like this and then drawing a line where I wanted the tail to be. Now I want to explain very clearly that when a puppy is 2 or 3 days old, I don't know exactly how big that puppy is going to be full grown. So I have to make the best guess that I can, because I like a tail that you can see wagging. And I want to show you something about Burberry's tail. So Burberry, hey Burberry, would you wag your tail for me? Say, no, I think you're doing something. I think you're up to something. But let me show you this. I did not breed Liberty. Here's Liberty, and here's Liberty's tail. Her tail is, I would say, very short. And so it's not always easy to see when her tail is wagging. This is a 2-inch tail right here on Mocha. And I think that it proportionally looks great. But again, from my eye, it's a little on the short side because I like to see that tail wagging. I also like to know if the tail is turned under. And if there's just a tiny little knob, almost nothing of a tail, it's really hard to read your dog's emotions by looking at the tail. So my choice is always to leave enough tail that you can see that happy I'm wagging my tail feeling. How's my Burberry girl, huh? Burberry's tail is very expressive. Now I'll show you some of these other tails. Let's get them moving around. Who wants to roll the ball? Yes, roll the ball. Yes, roll the ball. Notice Dazzle's tail. Do you see Dazzle's tail very easily? Hi, Dazzle. Yes, yes. Good girl, good girl. Yes, Mocha. Yes. Which type of tail do you like better? Do you like the one where you can see it wagging? Or do you prefer the little knob that you can hardly see moving at all? When Dazzle is wagging her tail, it's really hard to see that Dazzle is wagging her tail because her tail is just a little tiny nub. Yeah, whereas Burberry's tail is nice and long. So on dogs that I breed, I do my best to get the tail length right for what the dog is going to grow into so that you get a tail that you can enjoy seeing it wag. But please remember, puppies have to grow into their tails. So you might look right now at some of these puppies that are currently in a Teddybear cut, and you may say, wow, they have really super short tails. No, actually, they don't. It's just that the hair is an inch and a half long, and so it's masking, if you will, the length of their tail. And so when you look at Libby, for example, who has had a Schnauzer cut now, you see her tail, and you can see it when it's wagging. Libby, would you wag your tail for me? Yeah, that was a cute little wag of that tail. So I can tell when Libby is really happy because her tail is wagging. And hey, Wavy Davy Jackson, will you wag your tail for me? I want to make a point here. Could you help me out? Look. Yeah. Say, we got some wagging tails going on now. Yes. Yes, we got some wagging tails going. We do. Yes. So which do you prefer? Do you prefer to be able to see the tail wagging? Or do you prefer a little tiny nub where there's almost no evidence that the tail is wagging? I did not breed Mocha. He is a stunning Schnauzer. And if he were in a Teddybear cut, his tail would look shorter than it is. Now, sometimes I get lots of comments here about why people don't want tails docked. But the people who leave those comments are usually not from the United States. There are many areas in the world where docking tails is not allowed. It is illegal. And so if you live in one of those countries where docking tails is illegal, I understand that. I understand the thought behind that. I get it. So I don't need you to necessarily leave me comments about your thoughts on docking tails. However, if you want to leave a comment on that topic, you are certainly welcome to do so. I will not delete your comment if you choose to leave me a challenging comment about why docking tails is not a good idea. This is Editor Sean coming back as I'm watching the video, and while I won't delete your comments, I can tell you that YouTube often deletes comments. So if you include foul language or something along those lines, YouTube might choose to delete a comment. When I take my puppies at 2 or 3 days to my veterinarian, he puts a little bit of anesthesia, is that the right word? Number, pain number, in the end of the tail right before he docks the tail. I can tell you, I've watched and listened, and my puppies don't cry. They don't get upset. On the drive home from having their tails docked, they're quiet, they rarely make a sound, and it's an easy process. So here in the United States, most people who are buying a Schnauzer expect the tail to be docked. But even within that, there can be a range of what is a normal tail on a Schnauzer. So again, some breeders are going to leave only a tiny little nub at the end of the tail. They might dock it right about there. Whereas other breeders are going to have the tail be just a little bit longer. I err on the side of liking a longer tail because I want to see that wag, and I want to see that really cute look that comes when my puppies, my dogs, are wagging their tails. Again, Editor Sean wanting to make sure that I have included all of the information about Schnauzer tail docking appropriately. The original reason why Schnauzers' tails were docked, the German breeders that were breeding Schnauzers wanted a dog that would be great at ridding their property of vermin. So rats, for example. And Schnauzers were bred to be really great at going down into holes and getting vermin out and ridding property of vermin. And so for this reason, Schnauzer tails were docked so that a rodent couldn't bite the tail. And ears were also clipped or cut very short so that rodents couldn't bite on the ear. But we don't really need that today. We don't really need to cut the ears. So I've never had a Schnauzer that had cut ears. I have had Schnauzers, obviously, that have docked tails because everybody I know wants a Schnauzer with a tail docked. And I've only had, I think, 2 requests for puppies that have a long tail, but in order to get a puppy from me that has a long tail, you have to have picked your puppy by the time it's 2 days old so that I don't dock the tail. So if you're interested in a puppy, a Schnauzer puppy with a long tail, I'm happy to accommodate that. But just recognize you'll have to be on my waiting list. I need to know then that you want your puppy to have a full-size long tail that has not been docked. And you'll need to make your selection about which puppy you are getting at the time that it is 2 days old. She is so happy to see you.
I'm so happy to see her.
Yeah.
Hi.
Eve and Ariel are here to see Sugar, and of course Sugar's tail is wagging, and we were able to see it when we first picked her up, watching that tail wag. Hi, Sugar. Hey, pretty girl. And hi, pretty girl, Eve.
I just absolutely cannot wait to take her home. She's so precious, and every time I come to visit her, I just fall in love with her even more.
She is adorable, isn't she?
So sweet, really, just the sweetest.
She's a little bundle. Yeah. They are trying to guess how much she might weigh on the scale, but one of the things I know from the questions that Eve has asked me many times is they're excited to be able to walk her, like walking her in maybe Central Park or something like that. And so we want to make sure she's going to be big enough to be able to be walked and potentially even maybe do a little bit of jogging with you. All right, so I heard Ariel say his guess is 5 pounds.
Around 5.
All right,
My guess is maybe... My guess is 4.
4. All right. Let's put her on the scale and we will find out.
Sorry, I was on camera as well.
There we go.
Arlo went
So,
down to kiss Sugar.
right-
His head bonked me.
Right in the center there. So she is, oh, look at that tail wagging. Oh, it's so cute to see that tail wagging. Yeah, there's the tail wagging. Look at that. We love
The girl who's excited to get weighed.
we love seeing how happy you are. But she's 4 pounds, 7 ounces. Tail wagging little girl. So at 10 weeks old and at this weight, my prediction is she's going to be about 12 pounds full grown, which is going to enable you to be able to walk her the way that you want to.
It's amazing.
Sounds like a really perfect size.
Yes, she'll be able to fly on a plane easily, but she'll also be able to go on outings with you.
That's amazing. Exciting.
So I predict that she is going to be just a tiny little bit bigger than he is. So Mocha weighs about 10 and a half, 11 pounds right now. And I'm saying she's probably going to be about 12 pounds. What do you think?
Perfect. I'm really so excited. Thank you so much.
Oh, good. So you can really see there. Now, I have other dogs here that you've held and play with that are smaller than this. So earlier when you were sitting in the kitchen, you were holding Honeybee. And Honeybee was a lot smaller. Honeybee's 7 pounds, and I mentioned to you that Honeybee is probably too small to be a dog that I would take on a run through Central Park.
We're definitely very excited to be active with her.
That's right, but this size can definitely handle that kind of outdoor activity and such. You're probably not going to want to have this kind of full coat if you're running through I don't know, bramble, things that might get in the coat, right? If you're running through a bunch of leaves and such, that coat could be a little tricky. So you may want to keep the cut tighter if you're actually out running with her a lot in those kinds of situations. So I want you to imagine that you're carrying them like this, and you're out on the street in New York, and you see something ahead of you. Maybe it's a dog, or maybe it's someone dressed in a bizarre costume or something. Something that might trigger your dog. What I want you to do is prepare, anticipate, and I want you to turn her around and put her facing you, or potentially even put her under your arm. See how I'm doing with him right now? Let's say somebody's approaching me in a really crazy costume or something that might trigger my dog. What I'm doing is I am creating a safe space for the dog. I'm sending a message. I'm in charge here. You don't have to protect me. So if for some reason he saw someone on the street and started a low growl, what I'm going to do is with a very sharp voice say, no. And I'm going to turn him around. In essence, I'm sending him the energetic message, I've got this. You don't have to protect me. I'm the one. I'm the pack leader, not you. So you don't have to worry about being the protector of me. I can protect myself. And for those of you who have really super sweet, lovey kinds of voices all the time, women who may have a tendency to sort of hang back a little bit, your dog may decide that it needs to protect you. And the first time you hear your puppy, maybe 14, 15 weeks old, somewhere along that line, growl at somebody as a protective mechanism, a protective measure to help you, please don't laugh or cuddle or, oh, you're trying to protect me. Why? Because that's a reward. So if your puppy is behaving in a way that you don't want it to behave in the future, make sure the puppy knows that in the moment. I have a saying that I love, begin as you intend to go on. Begin as you intend to go on. This applies to everything in life. Begin as you intend to go on. I don't want him or Sugar to think that they have to be the pack leader in your family. A few minutes ago, we were talking here about tail length. And I'm curious, when you look at my dogs and you look at the lengths of their tails, what do you notice about them? And what are your thoughts about the length of her tail?
I think her tail looks amazing, and I like that it's long enough that I'll be able to read her the signs that she's sending through it. And honestly, I think she's just perfect, and everything about her is wonderful and beautiful.
Everything about you is wonderful and beautiful. And you know what, Eve? I can tell she's your soul puppy.
Thank you.
Yeah,
that means a lot.
She's your soul puppy, right? And so
Definitely.
when a dog is our soul puppy, and we just feel it, right? There are things that we have to recognize about the dog. For example, there's going to be a day where she's at your house and she's barking at something. She's alerting you to something, and you're going to find yourself saying, hey, what's going on? And I've showed you how to deal with it if a dog is barking. But even though she's your soul puppy, there are going to be little moments where you have to train her and you have to work with her and you have to sort of accept where she is in the moment and then help her to become what you're wanting her to be. So, Eve, if she was barking at your house and you didn't want her to, I know you've watched my videos a lot. What would you do if she were barking or doing something you didn't want her to do?
So you told me about the spray bottle, and then I should spray her. So it will distract her, and then once she's quiet, to reward her for being quiet and maybe redirect her to something else to take her attention off.
Perfect. That is just great. You got it. I promise you, Eve, there will be a day where that happens. Where
Makes sense.
Yeah. And so even though she's your soul puppy, there are going to be those moments where you still have to work with her, train her, so forth. Good. Thank you.
Lisa, Sugar. Yes, touch. Yes. Yes, down. Yes, Sugar.
The treat that we're using at the moment is wild Alaskan salmon. And I wanted Eve and Ariel to be able to see the pace, the hand signals.
Yes, Sugar.
See her tail wagging? She says, I'm happy.
Yes, sit. Yes, Sugar. Yes, watch me. Yes, Sugar. This is her new. Yes. Yes, come. Yes, come, Sugar. Yes.
She says, I know where the salmon is.
Yes, places. Yes, Sugar. Yes, down. Yes, down. Yes, down, Sugar. Yes, sit. Yes. Yes, touch. Yes. Yes, spin. Yes, Sugar.
And now what we're going to do is we're going to have Eve do this herself. So you're going to use that like a lure, and you're going to draw her attention the way you want to. So move your hand, and do you see how she follows your lure? Now put that up over her head like that, and now she's going to sit. And so you're going to say, yes, sit.
Sit. Yes, sit.
And give her the treat. Now eventually, you won't have to be doing it this way, Eve. Notice how her impulse control is fabulous. She's not moving. So now say, yes,
sugar.
sit.
Yes, sit.
And just give it right to her.
Yes, sit. Yes,
There you
sit,
go.
Sugar.
And we could do that like 5 times in a row. Like, yes, sit, sugar. Her impulse control is fabulous.
Yes, sit. Yes, sit. Sugar. Yes, sit, sugar.
Now I want
Yes,
you to
sit.
take the piece of salmon in between your thumb and your second finger. There you go. Between the thumb and the second finger. That's the first finger.
Oh.
That's the second finger. There you go. Okay. Now I want you to use this finger, and I want you to get her attention and point down.
Down. Yes, down. Yes, sugar. Yes, down.
Do you see why holding the treat that way enables you to give her the signal? Now I want you to say places, and you're going to lure her up there. She found a treat on the floor.
Places.
She says, oh, there might be more on the floor.
Sugar. Places.
Yes, places.
Yes, places. Yes, places.
All right, let's do that down again, where you're...
Sugar. Down. Yes, down. Yes, down.
All right, now I'm going to have you roll a little closer to the bed. There you go. And now you're going to get some in your hand. There you go. And you're going to have her follow your hand in a spin. Yes! Yes, spin! Yes, spin!
Should I have her do it again?
Yeah, definitely.
Spin. Yes, spin.
And I love that you're saying yes, spin while she's in the spin. Now I want you to spin the opposite direction. Yes, spin.
Yes, spin.
You can give her the treat. Excellent.
Yes, spin, sugar.
Now I want to show you something about treats. So I can take a piece this size, in other words, bigger than what you've been using. Sugar! Sugar! Would you just, yeah. Hey, look what I have. So see, I can do my whole routine with a piece this size and let her have a bite every now and then.
That seems easier.
Yeah. In this case, she bit off a lot, but I can control the amount that she takes just by where I'm placing my thumb on the treat.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Say, I like this. I like this. So we're rewarding impulse control here. Say, I'm cleaning up. Hey, sugar.
You see the coming?
So there's a touch, 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 touch. Now notice I did 3 different things before I let her have the treat. The older she gets, the better she gets at this, the longer I'm gonna go before she gets a treat. So she didn't get a treat there, she didn't get a treat there. Well, she got a little bit, she got a little bite. Now I'm gonna let her have another bite. So you see what I'm doing? I'm now doing 3 or 4 things before she gets the treat. And my other dogs are saying, it's my turn. You've been doing enough with her, it's my turn.
The touch is so cute.
So the touch is really powerful. Let's say you're in the park. There's a lot going on and you need to get her attention fast. That touch command you can do and she will come right away and touch your hand. Yeah.
Belly rubs. Yes, belly rubs.
Yes, belly rub.
Yes, belly rubs. Good girl. Yes, belly rubs.
What a lucky girl Sugar is with her mommy and her daddy giving her belly rubs.
Belly rub.
Yeah, so cute.
Liberty, sit. Yes, sit. Liberty, spin. Yes, spin. Liberty, down. Yes, down.
And the fact is, you don't even have to say the commands. You can just do the hand signals.
It's amazing.
Now do a touch.
Touch.
Move your hand pretty far. So there you go. So I want you to actually feel it. Now move it all the way over to the other side. Yep. And then give her a little bit of a treat.
She's so sweet. Also, the way she taking it as so delicate. She definitely knows not to
And
bite.
Ariel, would you like to do this too? But she can move at a pace that's a lot faster than you two are going.
Okay.
Yeah, and you don't have to sit on the ball. You can stand up if you prefer, whatever you prefer. Hold your hand the other way, like this. There you go. See, these hand signals really make a difference.
She really perked up when he flipped his head.
Well, she then knew what you were saying.
Yeah.
This is why these hand signals, you got to do the exact same thing that we do here. Otherwise, they don't know what you're asking them to do.
Very cool to see.
Yeah. Okay. So now, Eve, I'm going to have you.
Ooh, she's so
Yeah.
Eve, I'm going to have you come stand right here where I am.
You want me to sit?
I want you to come stand right where I
Okay.
am. Yep. Okay. And now, Ariel, you're going to direct her. You're going to lure her. You're going to take some of this in your hand. You are going to take some of this in your hand. Okay. And now, you're going to say, Liberty, roll the ball.
Liberty, roll the ball.
And now give her some.
Girl.
And you can keep going with her. She will roll the ball all the way
I
down.
didn't take a big enough piece here.
Well, that's okay. And you can let her lick
I'll
it.
take a big one.
You can let her lick it. But if you get yourself positioned where I am, see where I am? Now you
Liberty,
can.
roll the ball. Sorry.
You'll learn how to do this. It takes a little bit of time to get the up. Absolutely. Pick it back up. Yep. Yep.
Try to let go. Maybe if you let go of the ball, that'll help.
Yeah, you don't have to. Here,
Okay.
I'll show you what it looks like.
Thanks.
Liberty, roll the ball. Yes. Yes, roll the ball. Yes, Liberty. Yes. Baby slide. Yes, baby slide. Yes, baby slide. Liberty places. Yes, places. Yes. Liberty stay. So notice I'm giving her a stop sign with my hand. Stay. You've seen that Liberty is highly motivated to salmon, wild Alaskan salmon. But that's nothing compared to how motivated she is for a toy. Let's go. Push. Yes, push. Come on. This way. Yes, there we go. Yes, good job. Good push. Liberty, roll the ball. Yes, roll the ball. Yes. Yes, roll the ball. Okay. Now, Liberty, I'll let you have it. Yes. You got it. She will come back and want to play this game over and over and over. We'll spare you having to watch it over and over and over. I always love your questions. You ask questions in such a constructive, great way. And your questions always show that you are supporting and loving your puppy no matter what.
Definitely.
Yeah, I know you love her no matter what, and I know your questions are
Certainly.
always coming from that place. So,
Thank you.
what's one of your questions?
I was wondering your opinion on hands-free leashes.
Hands-free leashes.
I've seen ones that go like over your head and people wear them across their body and they can still use their hand to direct the dog in certain ways, but it's just a little bit easier
Okay.
than holding it the whole time.
I am very open to a hands-free leash, and particularly when your dog is already trained in Let's Go.
Yeah.
I have several videos that show Let's Go, and we will be teaching her the Let's Go command because she's staying here through our full puppy prep school experience. So she will learn Let's Go. I would not start with a hands-free leash initially because the dog does need the corrections that come from holding the leash.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, good.
I was also wondering how you distinguish the different types of growls and which ones are setting boundaries and which ones we should correct.
All right, so different types of growls, if you will. So growling if I come to take a toy or when she's eating, making sure you're putting your hands in her food. You don't want her to growl ever when you're touching her food at the same time that she's eating her food. You don't ever want her to growl about you playing with a toy, like tug of war kind of thing. You never want her growling in those instances. So if that happens, you're going to say N-O very sharply.
Okay.
And then you are going to dramatically have no eye contact with her. I'm going to show you what it looks like, and I want you to mimic me. So you are blatantly looking away from her. You are shunning her, if you will, when she does something that you do not want her to do. So for the most part, those kinds of growls, I want to just stop right away. If she's growling at a person who's coming towards you, for example, she should not do that. She might try to do that, though, about 2 weeks, 3 weeks after you have gotten her. So if that's the case, I want you to, again, just very sharply say no and then turn her and put her under your arm. You want to send the signal to her loud and clear. I can take care of myself. You don't need to protect me. And so there's no reason why she should ever be growling to protect you. Great questions, Eve.
Thank you.
Editor Sean popping back into the video here as I am watching it, and Dana happens to be training all of the puppies today upstairs in my living room, which is why you're seeing the change. But this is Libby, and Libby is doing really well in her session, isn't she?
Yes.
We're talking about growling, and Eve asked such a great question about both the boundaries that a dog may be trying to convey, as well as when a dog is trying to protect you or to protect something else. What I've talked about so far is when a dog might be trying to protect you or maybe their food, resource guarding. If your dog growls at something and you realize your dog is communicating a very clear message to you, your dog is uncomfortable, your dog needs help, please listen to that. So if this little puppy, this adorable little girl, oh, we just love you so much. If a 2-year-old child is playing with this puppy and goes to pick the puppy up by its leg and the puppy growls, that is appropriate. Pick your puppy up immediately and get your puppy out of the situation. If your puppy is sensing that it might be hurt or that it needs to protect itself, now that's different. You want to immediately jump in and help your dog. This is one of the reasons why paying really close attention to your dog's eye contact. If your dog is looking right at you and asking you for help, pay attention to that. On the other hand, if your dog is doing what's called wall eye is where the dog is not looking. See how I'm dramatically not looking? That is a sign of stress. Panting is a sign of stress. Sometimes ear scratching can be a sign of stress. So I do have a video specifically on the different stress signals that puppy and dogs send. I highly recommend that you watch that video perhaps after this one if this is a topic that is of importance to you. Now back to where we were with the conversation with Eve.
And what do you think I should do if my cat tries to take a toy that she's playing with and she growls at him?
So there's going to probably be some of that between the cat and the dog. The cat is gonna wave his paw, her paw? His paw. What's your cat's name?
Archie.
Archie. So Archie's gonna probably bat at her sometimes, and she's going to bark or run at Archie. And I would say let them work through that. How big is Archie?
He's around 10 pounds.
Okay, so he's bigger than she is.
Yeah.
And likely will be bigger than she is when you get her home. Mm-hmm. And so you're going to let them work some of that out.
Okay.
They will work it out.
Yeah.
And if anybody has any comments that you'd like to put below in the comments section, please feel free to do so. If you have comments about how to integrate a puppy and a cat together, we'd love to hear your best practices. Again, if you have experience in doing this, please share that in the comments below. Great.
Actually, my cat Archie, I got him when he was a young kitten, and he grew up around my family's dogs, and he knows how to play very well with the dogs. Him and one of them are best friends, and he never scratches anyways. He does play, but not scratch. Not bite, really.
Yeah, so he's already puppy conditioned potentially.
He knows to be gentle.
Yeah, so that's great. I have a feeling you will be sending me photos and pictures, maybe even some video of them playing together a few days or weeks after you get them. I wouldn't set the expectation that that's going to happen day one.
That makes sense. They have to get to know each other.
That's right. We'll give a lot of grace here in those first several days. Yes. Yes. Aww.
If I'm holding her and she motions that she wants to go down, should I let her go down every time, or should I more send the message that sometimes it's okay to be held even if you're not in the mood? What do you think is best?
Okay, so if she got really squirmy on you, if they make a squeak, the squeaky noise is often a sign, I gotta go potty, mommy.
Oh, okay. She's squeaking.
So in that case, I would say just put her right in the playpen if she's starting to make little squeaky noises. There you go. And she just may go do her business.
The squeaks are so cute.
Yeah. Say that you were in the park though, and you were in a place where you couldn't really put her down if she started squeaking. Just try to explain to her, use your energy. Wait just a moment, I'm about to get there. Or have a potty pad, a disposable potty pad with you when you go on outings that you could put down on the ground. I did a video recently, Eve, about how to teach your dog to go potty on cue, and you're going to be able to do that with her for
Amazing.
sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, it just takes time. I want you to know, it's 100 times, not the third time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Good. I know you've probably got more questions.
It's true. So I know why you use a collar versus a harness to train them how to walk. This way they can read all the signals very well and they get the hang of it. But I was wondering why, once they already have that down pat, why you continue to use the collar versus the harness.
Yeah, so Eve, once she's really well trained and she knows let's go, and she can be right with you and stay with you, you're welcome to use whatever you would like to use. Bless you. Bless you. Yeah. I just don't happen to use a harness myself.
Okay.
I don't prefer a harness because I am able with leash work to give a sensitive little tug to get them in the right direction, and I can communicate with the leash so well, whereas I cannot communicate at all through a harness.
Okay, interesting.
But again, once she's really well trained and she knows all the hand signals and she knows all the words and so forth, you're welcome to use whatever you would like to use.
Thank you.
Good, sure.
And then let me see what else I have. This is just a personal question, but I saw one of your past videos that you mentioned that you used to breed English Cocker Spaniels, and I was curious why you switched over to Schnauzers.
Oh, sure. I bred English Cocker Spaniels and love them. I actually obedience trained Shelties. So I bought them from other breeders and I would obedience train Shelties. And I love both of them. I love really smart dogs. So English Cockers I sort of fell into, if you will. When I was a teenager, my best friend and family that I really loved bred and showed English Cocker Spaniels, and so that I fell into. And then Shelties I chose because they're so smart. Oh my goodness, they're so smart. But they also come with a lot of fur. Yeah. Oh my goodness, they come with a ton of coat. And so keeping them clean, or keeping a home clean with that breed, is super hard. And you might not know this about my husband Jim, but Jim really likes a meticulous home, no fur anywhere.
That makes sense.
Yes, and so with our little Schnauzers, we don't have fur, we don't have hair all over the place. We don't have to worry about that on our clothes or our sofas or anything. So they're hypoallergenic. Schnauzers are hypoallergenic and they don't shed. So that's a big deal for us. And that contrasts to Shelties.
And I just have one more question. I was wondering if she needs a winter coat, and if so, at what temperature around you recommend busting it out?
Ah, okay. Do we need winter coats? And sometimes people will ask me, do we also need winter booties? I think you've asked me a similar question.
I intend on keeping her fluffier, so I know that also factors into it.
Yeah, I think the whole coat question is one, it depends on how long you might be outside. Is she getting cold? Those kinds of things. I personally don't use winter coats on my dogs, but you're welcome to. If you find something that you think is adorable and you want to put her in it, I also think, as we've talked before about the booties, you could get the boots. Once you've gotten her and she's old enough to be out on the street in New York City moving around, you could put boots, a coat like that on her. And I think you have some really adorable boutique kinds of shops in New York that you could probably go in, take her in with you. But again, this is after you've gotten her. So just to be super clear, this is after she is 16, 18 weeks old, after she's had all of her final shots, that kind of thing. Then you could take her into a cute boutique kind of store. And she's over there sound asleep, isn't she? She says,
exhausted.
I have had quite a play date here with my new mommy and daddy. Yes.
She's looking at me asleep. I actually have one more question. This is the real final one. So I know you said that at the beginning.
Eve, I promise you, it won't be your final question. I know you, Eve.
Next time I'll have a lot more.
You love to ask questions, and I love people who ask questions. For me, it's all about how the question is asked. When the question is asked from the space that you are in, when the question is asked from, hey, I really want to do the best by my dog, and I love this dog, and that where you're coming from and the way you ask questions, Eve, is so lovely. And
thank you.
I just
really appreciate that.
Sure. Okay, so what's the next question that you have, Eve?
So I know that you mentioned that when I first get her, just to make her comfortable with walking around in the streets, that maybe a sling option would be nice, or a stroller. And I was wondering, should I get a sling now and send it to you so she could be used to it before I have her, or should I just start doing that when she comes to me?
So I think what will be best is the stroller initially. Let her get used to the streets in the stroller, and that way you're hands-free. You're able to carry or do whatever you're doing. You've got the stroller, you can put your bags in the stroller, that kind of thing. Eventually you can build up to the sling. The way that I know people have done the sling, so let's see, Susan, who has Charlie, who lives in New York, or who lives in Chicago, she used a sling with Charlie, even moving around her apartment initially when he first arrived. And so I think that would be good. Practice with her in the sling when she arrives, and I think you'll be in great shape. But you could also wait until you get her to get the sling so that you make sure you get the right size sling. So that's why I would say I hesitate to have you get a sling now, because the size that she might need right now might not be the size she needs when she's a little bigger. Yeah.
Thank you.
Good, sure. Yeah. What a fun visit we've had today.
Thank you so much. We've had the best time.
Oh, you are awesome.
Thank you. You too.
These puppies just all love playing with each other. You're all having such a great time. Look at that tail wagging. Yes, I love wagging tails. I do. I love being able to see tails that wag. Look at Miss Libby's tail. Isn't that a cute tail? You have such a cute tail. We can see it when it's wagging. Yes, and just groomed Dazzle. We're getting her back into her Schnauzer cut. And Dazzle has a tiny little tail. Such a tiny tail. Sometimes it's hard to see Dazzle's tail wagging because it's so short. And I personally like that tail wagging so I can see it really easily. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. We also appreciate your comments below. Please make your comments 5 words or more in order for it to count in the YouTube counter. This is my website, svcctoys.com. If you have more questions about our little Schnauzers, you will find there is a whole Q&A section here on my website, including what makes a SVCC Schnauzer so special. And if you scroll down to the bottom of this page, you will see there's a whole Q&A section about Schnauzers, as well as lots of information about why Schnauzers are really great puppies, pets, why they make such beloved family pets. So you can learn a lot more here on our website if you would like to do so and see these mini Schnauzer Q&A. Come check it out.